Right. But anyways, Buse Nectars, guys, thank you for this amazing opportunity. I really appreciate for giving me this opportunity so that I can come through and share one or two things regarding communication, business skills, etc. And Mama Mras, I greatly appreciate this honor. The reason I'm saying this is because my first time coming to Bindura University was actually 2 years ago. And we had the Boosie Nectars team that were training to go for the national championships, if I'm not mistaken. And we only had a few days for preparation, and that was actually like 3 days or something like that. And these guys did wonders. They went there, whatever we discussed, whatever we practiced, they put that stuff into motion, and they won. After they won, went to Netherlands, and from there they've been traveling. But in guys, this is not fair. And yeah, another thing that I would also want to appreciate, Tari Rode Gitari. The reason I'm doing that is because she's one of my top two favorite artists actually. Obviously, the first one being Silent Kilangwere. So obviously, yeah. Murba number 2. Then my mentor, Madame Maureen Mandepaza. Thank you for coming through this opportunity. I think you've never seen me speaking. Just like you. But anyways, I'm looking forward to have a fantastic session with all of you guys because what we're going to have is pretty much a public speaking masterclass. And I'm pretty sure 1 or 2 people are going to learn 1 or 2 things regarding presentation skills and everything that is related to that. Then another thing that I also wanted to mention was I have a love and hate relationship with Bindura University. The reason I'm saying that is because I love it because of the nectars, and I don't like it in a way because the first girlfriend that was very beautiful that I had was from Buse. Anyways, she broke my heart. I moved on. I'm 24. Ladies, listen. I'm 24. In the future, is bright. You play your cards right to go into something. You get the idea? All right. So without wasting much of your time, now let's get into the masterclass. I want all of you to stand. Can you all stand? Let me use the mic that is just downside. That one. Can you all stand? And even my phone in you, like your phones. Yes, sorry. Your phones. I need you to record just a 30-second voice note. 30-second voice note. You can start now. Kungo record a 30-second voice note. If you had my number, I would have given you mongon record and I might essay. So just record a 30-second voice note. You can start right now. 30 seconds. One, two, okay. $30 seconds. If you are done, you can just stop. If you are done, you can just stop. After you're done, I want you to listen to that voice note. Listen to your voice note, guys. So I'm going to tell you. And after you're done with the listening part, you can just take your seat. Okay, we are done, all of us. At the back, the gents at the back, we're good. You're done? By the corner there, we're done. The leadership, SRC leadership. Right, guys, I want you to be honest, like brutally honest. When you were listening to yourself, just show by raising your hand. Okay. This is less than a quarter of this room. Now let me tell you a secret that is not really a secret. A secret that is not really a secret. muchitaura nesu ndo mavoice atonzwa vai amuri kuti aite. The reason I'm mentioning this is because I want you to understand one critical thing when it comes to things that have to do with presentation skills, public speaking, etc., etc., anything communication. This voice that you have, it's a toolbox. What I mean by toolbox is there's absolutely no way of communication that you can go through if you're not using the voice. So what that pretty much means is my voice enyo anakushata. Nyangoti amuna kumajaira. Like amaterero vangwanu ndo vanonzwa my voice enyo. I don't know kana mune vangu vakamburisibva uma compliments like, oh, you got a beautiful voice or something of that sort. The ladies. Vakomana muita samuzozwa vakadzi kuti vane mavoice ana. Kana kuti avatorina. It could be two things. The gents, you've got deep voices and everything of that sort. Mukataura, vakadzi vanobva vati, you know, the ladies in the room, vanobva vasettle down zvakanaka. Interesting stuff. Now, so this little masterclass is going to be a composition of two things. The first one, we're going to look at the issue of the voice, how you can maximize or how you can use your voice effectively when you're communicating on a consistent basis. Then the second thing that you're going to look at, we're also going to look at body language, because body language and your voice, they go hand in hand. In other words, what I'm simply trying to say is, and I don't know if you've read this particular, there's this interesting statistic where they say that when you're delivering a presentation, 50% of the communication or 52% of the communication is actually the body language, which pretty much means that the way that you act, the way that you walk, the way that you present yourself, the way that you dress, it speaks so much to the people that are listening to you or that are watching you. You get the idea? So we're going to talk about those two things. So the first 5 things that I want to share with you, we're going with the voice first. We're starting with the voice. The first 5 things that I want to share with you is, whenever you're delivering a presentation, you need to understand that you have to avoid being monotonous. What do I mean by being monotonous? Voice flat throughout the entirety of the presentation. I think about this. We traveled with my guy. Yeah, that's one of my guys. It's called Munya. He does the videography and the photography. If you go on my Instagram is Tinashe Simudzirayi, by the way. Mukona ma picture, obviously. If mukona ma pictures and this guy looks cute. He's in charge. So this is the person that you can talk to for all your photography and everything that is related. Munya, that's my guy. Anyways, he doesn't have a girlfriend, by the way. Now, going back to what I was talking about, the issue of the voice projection. So we traveled all the way from Bindura. But one thing that you can notice is, when we traveled from Harare to get to here at Bindura University, we didn't travel in a straight line. It wasn't just a straight road. Of course, we can have so many explanations of why is that. You know, people can talk about the terrain, they can talk about all of that stuff. But my theory, what I believe, one of the biggest reasons why the road is not straight is because tikarambatire road is straight, we're most likely going to have accidents. Why? Hamuna chinhu chiri kuita kuti tirambe tine attention yedu iri aweso. Road ingori straight. Ukango decided I want to go 100 kilometers an hour, you can just go 100 kilometers an hour. It's a straight road. But kana ine makevi ine mahambo nombosvika pakuti unoona kuti panapa kuda ndiita sei ndimbomirira mbijana ndidzore speed. It's the same thing with your voice. So with your voice as well, if you want to avoid being monotonous, there are 5 things that you need to pay attention to. Number 1, you want to look at the volume. That is your pitch. Number 1, pitch. Number 2, you want to look at your pace. Number 2, pace. If you're writing, you can write down. If you don't feel like writing, it's still fine. Number 3, so we say pitch, we say pace, pause. Number 3, pause. P-A-U-S-E as in kumira. Then number 4, we want to talk about personality, your personality as an individual. Then the last piece that we want to talk about is the power that comes from your voice. So to begin with, pitch. Pitch speaks to how high your voice is or how low your voice is when you're speaking. So in every conversation that you're having, one thing that you're most likely going to notice is I think ndichiexplaina ipapo chimwe chinhu chadakangana kutaura or chadakangana kudefine is just public speaking as well. Like, what really is public speaking? Of course, there's the definition that you can get from the dictionary. Then there's the definition that you can get from Tinashe Simudzirayi. The definition that you can get from Tinashe Simudzirayi is, it's a conversation with an audience. What do I mean by a conversation with an audience? The approach that you take when you're talking to your friends, when you're talking to your boyfriends, girlfriends, your parents, any other individual, the same approach that you take is the same approach that you take when you're on the stage. That's basically presentation skills for you. The only difference is when you're on stage, you now understand that you are delivering to a large group of people. Like in this case, because I need to make sure remember, I didn't say shout. I simply say that my voice has to be audible in such a way that room. So that is presentation skills for you. So volume, how high your voice is and how low your voice is, that is your pitch. In most cases, I would say a higher pitch is mostly associated with excitement. You know, like when you're excited about something, you're most likely going to use a higher pitch. Like if you're like me, a big fan of football, Manchester United is not my team, of course. I'm a Real Madrid fan, so when I'm talking about the UEFA, whatever that took place, I'm most likely going to use a lower pitch. Why? Because we lost to Arsenal of all the teams. So, high pitch, high volume, it's mostly associated with excitedness, when you are happy, when you are shocked. You can also use a high pitch. But a lower pitch in most cases, maybe when you are sad, you feel very empathetic, you would use that lower pace. So your pitch and then your pace, it goes hand in hand rather. Your pace speaks to the speed of speaking. Sometimes you speak using a faster pace, like in this case I'm using a faster pace. Then sometimes, or some cases rather, I would use a slower pace. Now the reason why I would use the slower pace is because maybe I want to put across the point that I would believe that is very important. And I don't know. Why? Because you want to pay attention to exactly what I am saying, which is different from the voice repamsore. Voice repamsore don't grab attention kuti munake kuti muone kuti mune munhu mu room. But pandinenge ndakutaura zvinhu zviri important, voice rako rinofanira kudzikira, because that's the point that is very important. It's very critical. I want you to pay attention or to listen to it. Most cases, you know, like when the biggest example I can give is, I don't know, how many of us are familiar with rhetorical questions? You know, when you ask a question that already has a response, but you're only asking that particular question because you want your audience members or whoever is listening to pay attention. Perfect example. Right now we're having a business seminar that is in a room full of young people that want to learn about entrepreneurship and business and everything of that sort, and leadership as well. I would come and then say, like I'm one of the speakers, like my mama, Dr. Maureen Mandipa's, I come here. So the young people in this room, if we don't fight to build the economy of this country, who will? You got that? Who will? Ndadzikizaka volume bija nazo. Pamwe ndogona chitobvunza mubvunzo usinangana basa. But because mabvunziro andinenge ndaita, zvinobva zvaita kuti ndataura zvimwe zvinhu zvakakosha stereki. And that question yanga singatombodi response. Ikwestion yekuti ndachida kuti mufunge nezvandiri kutaura nezvazvo. You get the idea? So that is on your pitch. Sometimes the voice is high, sometimes the voice is low. Then we move on to the third thing. The third P is the pause. The pause is simple and straightforward. We're simply saying that, guys, simple as that. Why am I saying this? When you're writing, even when you're writing like an essay, or when you are reading something, you would notice the explanation that we got from primary school when we learned about full stops was, it is a breather. Of course it is a breather. But I want to look at that full stop in a more, on the presentation side of things. Usually, when I would pause for two things. The first reason I would pause is because I want to think about the things that I want to say. I don't know my gap fillers. Your gap fillers, your like you're speaking and then you say, you've got your filler words like so, your filler words like, your filler words like but. Those filler words, mukataura zvamunenge muchida kutaura musina kuisa word iroro haritombo-chinje meaning yezvinhu zvamuri kutaura. One of the reasons, or rather the main reason why you have a lot of filler words when you're speaking, in most cases is because you're speaking faster than what your mind is registering. Kana ndichiti mind zvairi kuregister ndikuedza kuti muda kutaura nechirungu tikuziva muda kutaura nechirungu handizika but muromo uri kuziva kuti kufanira kutaura asi pfungwa hadzisati dzakonfema word riri kuda kutaurwa. Saka paunonotaura pai ndo paunobva wanoti kana kuti unobva wanoti like, kana kuti unobva wanoti so, kana kuti unobva wanoti but, kana akawanda mawords acho. So you're speaking faster than your normal way, the normal way that you're supposed to speak. Mirira pfungwa dzitange dzaregister zvauda kutaura wozotaura uri kusedza maposes ako effectively. In other words, what I'm simply trying to say is, as an individual, you need to be in a position where you communicate deliberately. Like it's very intentional. You are not in a rush, hapana kukumanyisa, taura zvauri kuda. But unenge uchitaura mbijana, uchikonfirma mawords chichi. You know, one of the things, usually when I'm having like some of these master classes, one of the things that I usually get from people is, I would ask them like some of the few questions, you know, why do you want to learn public speaking? Why do you want to learn presentation skills? Then an individual would say, I ndandigone chirungu changu ndikuda kuti ndichi-enhance. But munhu ane A ku-English, O level, but I agone chirungu. Of course, there are so many things that we can talk about. But in most cases, it's because muda kutaura, musati mafunga zvamunoda kutaura zvacho. So unobvoita kunge chirungu chacho chisipo. Let me tell you why I'm saying this. It's because, you know, with speaking, I believe it's not a theoretical thing. It's a very practical thing. The only thing that can build your confidence on stage, of course, we can talk about internal validation, but there's what I would call external validation. I think that's the most important one. I have told myself that I am a very good public speaker, or I am the president of Zimbabwe, or I speak effectively. I need someone, the lady, that is just here. Presentation, but you know, the presentation that you did just there, I learned one or two things. You know what that is going to do to me? It's going to boost my self-esteem. Then I get maybe the gent that is close by. But I'm Tara, I'm sure presentation build confidence yangu mbijana. That's how confidence is built. Simple as that. Just like that. Confidence is not built. But manje mukangouya magefila zakawanda chichi. Tinongokuti well done for showing up. Well done for showing up. And let me tell you something. Showing up is not enough. Showing up is not enough. So that external validation only comes kana taita chinhu chinenge chakanaka, chinazonobudawo zvakanaka as well. Munhu uyobva akudza kuti confidence yako dzaita. Saka chirungu ichi chinomira pakuti patiri kunotaura zviri fast, brain hadzisati dzakonfema, vanhu vari muaudience obva vatozoona kuti bado rechirungu haripo apa. Confidence waluza, audience iri kuziziva kuti confidence waluza. And unotoona nema-expressions evanhu kuti pakashata. So that automatically reduces your levels of confidence. Then the fourth thing that I want to state is your personality. Now this one is my favorite, it's a personal favorite. Personality speaks to who you are as an individual. If you're somebody who is energetic, that's you, that's your character. If you're someone who is calm, collected, you speak in a slow way, that is you, that is your character. We expect you to embrace that when you come on the stage. You get the idea? Problem inoitika manje. I always love to mention this. Problem inoitika ndeyekuti tikanomira pastage apa, where usually when you go, you can never develop that British accent. Kana uchigara mumba kuZimbabwe, uchigara mumaraini kwangu Glenoroko, you lie. Unenge waiona kupi. So accent, in most cases, how you develop that accent, develop an environment yaunospenda time yaunospenda time uri. So kazhinji kacho, the people that have a British accent is because they are from Britain. Australian accent, Australia. Irish accent, Guys, Irish accent, my university students, guys. Anyways, Irish accent and Isuzu, yeah, Isuzu is Zimbabwean accent. So, you as an individual, what you want to work on is the correct pronunciation of words, not the accent. Perfect example, ndine word rankura ndinofarira rinonzi determine. Tikanoti ngatiritaurei muno rinobva ranonzi determine. Donoti, which one is this? There's this one. This one I actually learned in high school. This one is not funny, but ndakatodzidzira from vanhu. Ndakanzi, it's not Italy, it's Italy. Chananonzanzi, it's not basically. It's basically, exactly. It's not entrepreneur. It's entrepreneur. All right, so if you want to learn how these words are correctly pronounced, you open your dictionary, ukavura dictionary, and slow to not like a definition. Ukavura dictionary rako, ukarivhura so, ukanoenda pakanzi determine, bye. Musati determine, guys. Ndatoko kudzidzisa imakutozviziva. Kuma lecture mama murasi, kuma lecture ukoko, vana havafaniri kuti determine, vakuzviziva. Ukanovhura dictionary, ukanosangana nepakanonzi, ukaenda pane definition yedetermine, bye. Pane tumawords tunoitwa kanyora netuma italics so. Tumawords itoto ndo tunokubatsirai, tunokuratidzai kuti word rinopronouncewa sei. Saka mukanoona kwekupedzisira pana d wangu wandiri kutaura na t. Pana m-i-n yokupedzisira bye. Pana m poita a-e-i na n. Determine. The last piece, power. Power. I know a lot of us in the room are Christians. Show by raising your hand if you've gone to church. Kuchechi kwako kuna mfundisi angachiparidza singaiti. Like an hour sermon. Mfundisi angachiparidza singaiti. Then maybe ubwasvika kumba ubwanonzi. How was church today? What? The pastor was powerful. He was powerful. Okay, but what did the pastor say? I don't remember, but he was powerful. What exactly did the pastor say? Murungoziva kuti pastor vanga vari powerful. Kazhinji kacho manje panonzi powerful speakers. What I've noticed, because I think it's something that we need to correct murunguno. Kazhinji kacho panonzi powerful speakers. Vanhu vanofunga voice riri padenga. Kuti ndikanoti hallelujah, tisitodati amen. Ndobva noti Jona akazonomedzwa nehuve akanoita 3 days. 1 hour. Pastor varingotaura nevoice rapa. Tobva tati pastor vanga vari powerful. Guys, that is not a powerful speaker. That is someone who is shouting. Ari kudedzera. Because listen. The way that I see power of your voice is if you use all the things that we've spoken about, if you use them effectively. Your pitch, sometimes voice is pamsoro, sometimes voice is pasas. Your pace, sometimes utaura uri fast, sometimes utaura uri slow. Your pause, parikuda kumira, uri kumirawo. That's how you get the power. And of course the personality. Guys, my accent is fake. Tinozvinzwa. I'm being honest about this. Tinozvinzwa. It's not good. Because I'm not kanganisa tinoita kagara audience. And I'm not, pane mwa munhu wekuti muchitobva pa event panapa. Munotonozika tinotaura kuti just because of the way that someone was speaking. Saka my accent gadzirisai. Right. So that is on power. Then we move on to the final things. The voice and body language. Body language is my favorite, and body language is a personal favorite because, like I've said before, it contributes a lot to the way that you communicate. It contributes a lot to the way that you communicate as an individual. It speaks to ndikanomira panapa. Let me give this typical example. This one is an example that I love the most. You know, the first 7 seconds of meeting someone, you already formulate an opinion about them. Ngosangana naye ngosa atina ngotaura kana kuti kana alright tongoti vanhu vatasangana nawo patu apa. Kana pane vanhu vangonditarisa ndoziva kuti mune zvamafunga pamusoro pangu. Of course hamuzondiudze, but mune zvamafunga. Tinozviita kakawanda, we immediately judge. Andingati judge, judge, we are judgmental people. So the first 7 seconds of meeting someone, you formulate an opinion about them. Whether it's a good opinion or it's a bad opinion, you have it. The first 7 seconds of meeting someone. Even if it's not the first 7 seconds of meeting someone, paunongosangana naye uchingomuona pane zvaunofunga pamusoro pemunhu waita sei wawasangana naye. So you as an individual, you need to make sure the first 7 seconds dzauri kusanganwa nevamwe vanhu kana kuti zvinomira pamberi apapa vanhu vanofanira kunge vane kabelief kaike kuti this is the person that we've been waiting for. And how does that look? It looks to the way that you dress, it speaks to the way that you speak, not speak per se, the way that you walk rather. Especially walk, it speaks to your posture. What do we see? Pane mwe munhu wekutoti tikakudedza kuti uyapana kutaura something unongoti ngona ne step yakubva kwakagara kutaura pana aidzine dzakabusa idzi just because of the way that is walking. Because somebody else aningati manya vanenge vane dzungu vane pressure just because of that. So you need to pay attention to those things. So 5 things that I want to share about body language. Number 1, I'm going to talk about eye contact. Number 2, facial expressions. Eye contact, facial expressions. Number 3, I'm going to speak about hand gestures. Number 4, I'm going to talk about posture. Then what's the last thing? I don't know if I know about it. Eye contact, posture, facial expressions, hand gestures, movement. Yes, 5 things. To begin with eye contact, eye contact is your eyes are your windows to the soul. I'm not sure to what extent that is true. It is not only case and truth. They are the windows to the soul. But what I think really explained, what I think whoever came up with that expression was trying to explain, there's a good eye contact, is an engagement. Public speaking. Remember, public speaking is more of a conversation with an audience. So if I look at you in the eye, I'm not going to feel proud. I'm faced with public speaking, I'm going to but no, it's because I'm an effective communicator. If I look at you in the eye whilst I'm communicating, you feel as if you are part of the conversation. You immediately engage. If I move to this table, I look someone in the eye, they feel like they're part of the conversation, they immediately engage. But remember, I'm not saying stay. Even if this one is the man of my life. This one. Because I'm going to tell them this. Anyways, that is on your eye contact. Then from eye contact, they move on to the second point. That is your facial expressions. Facial expressions, guys, when you get on stage. Smile, because this is a game of energy. The energy that I give to you is the energy that you're going to give me back. So if I come here and I'm tense, you're most likely going to be tense. If I come and I smile, you're most likely going to smile back. I don't know, like for those guys, attachments. You get into an office with your CV, or maybe you just want to ask for someone who can assist you, and then the reception smiles at you. You feel welcome. But ukazogari serious ango kwindimara, you're not welcome to the place. But in most cases, it's not necessarily because munega asino kufilisa welcome. It's because atomboziva ukuthi ari kuluka serious. So you need to pay attention to your facial expressions. Smile as much as possible. Then the third thing that I want to talk about is the issue of posture. Posture speaks to the way that you stand. Posture speaks to the way that you stand. Like my mid running and like this. When I was in high school, I went to a boys' school by the way. When I was in high school, that was lower 6. we were chosen to be prefects, and then we went on a prefects camp. That remember the 7-second rule yatataura nezvayo. Ukafamba wakaslaucha so, ukafamba wakaslaucha so. Unoita kunge hauna direction, you don't know things that I don't know. Hazvingobude. But ukafamba wakanyatsomira semunhu akamira. You walk up straight, you don't walk too fast, you don't walk too slow. I'm not saying you should walk like Robocop, but what I'm simply trying to say is just be straight, not too fast, not too slow, especially for the ladies. Yeah, the ladies in the room, do not walk too fast. In fact, don't walk fast. Don't walk fast. Ladies, please, don't walk fast. For the gents, I can understand because obviously, they're doing households and all of that. So they can always run. But you guys, why are you running? Where are you running to? So that in itself, it shows composure, it shows authority, and it shows that you are in control, which is basically what you want to show to your audience members. You get on stage, 7 seconds ndedze munhu ane confidence. 7 seconds ndedze munhu ari kuziva zvaari kuda kunotaura. 7 seconds ndedze munhu ari sure, because apana anoda kuteerera munhu asiri sure, vabhadhara $2. Obviously, you want that $2 to be worthy of your investment. You get the idea. So ndikauya ndichiita kunge handisi kuziva ndiri kufamba sei apa, pamunongoti hatina kuskemwera. You get the idea. So you need to pay attention to that posture. Then the fourth thing that we spoke about, we said, please help me. Posture, that's where I'm moving from. I said? Etiquette. Hand gestures. Hand gestures. Oh, okay. Etiquette. Hand gestures. These are your hands. Please allow me just to lift the mic just a bit. So, hand gestures. These are your hands. Remember, we said it's a conversation with an audience. So what you want to do when you're using your hands, you want to make sure that you're using them deliberately. You're not using them because you've been told that when you're speaking, you use your hands. It's supposed to express something. Perfect example, I could say that I want to teach you 5 things about public speaking. Then I would say the first thing that I'm going to teach you is the importance of using the voice. The second thing that I'm going to teach you is the importance of body language. The third thing that I'm going to teach you about is the importance of grooming and etiquette, the way that you dress. The fourth thing, what you can see, I'm signposting. 1, this is the first thing. 2, this is the second thing. 3, this is the third thing. 4, and final thing. That is signposting. I could decide that I want to show direction. So as I was coming to the FSE dining hall, I used this direction. Why am I pointing this side? It's because I want you to visualize. I want you to visualize direction and aware nayo. Cannot example yandinopa iri easy. I would want to show size. Then I would say, as I was coming here, there was a big bus and a small car that crashed. So you can see, you can have an image of the big bus. Then in your imaginations, you can then decide but the imagination, you now have it. So I am showing size. Of course, you can also try to use your hands to show emotions and all of that. But the basic underlining thing that I want to share is, when you are using your hands, don't use your hands for the sake of using them. They should be used for a specific purpose. That's being deliberate with your hands. Hand gestures. Then the last thing, we said movement. I love movement. I love movement. That's the main reason why ndava stage apa. Because movement, it helps me to connect more with my audience members. Daidanga ndichitaura ukuku. Etaigona kuconnecta, but it's not as effective as when I am in here with you guys. Let me explain. So, the first part of movement, let me go on the stage because I see kuna wangwana or kumsoro. I just want to explain on this one, on the stage. Just give me a moment. Okay. So this, I'm just assuming that they should be like a podium, yeah. So this is my stage. The first kind of movement that we understand is on this little stage that I have, Antitika, I can easily move one leg to the left so that I have the attention of these people. I can come back in my box, in my imaginary box. I can move to the front. I can come back in my imaginary box. I can move to my right side, come back in my imaginary box, and come back in my imaginary box. That is for people that don't like moving the same way that I do. I love movement. I don't want to be stuck on one place. But this movement, manje, in a problem yekuti, ukasayita zvakanaka, people just pay attention. So it has to be deliberate. So this is my box, and this is my audience. I also have the audience that is on this side. So in this room, I'm delivering a presentation about something. I don't know what I'm delivering about, but it's a presentation that I want to make sure that I'm connecting with everyone. The reason why I would walk and speak from this side is because I want to accommodate my people that are on this end. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have neglected you. Doesn't necessarily mean that I've neglected people that are from that end. I just want these guys to feel involved. That's the reason why I moved here. You would notice that the majority of my presentation, I would spend it on the center because that's where the majority of my audience members are. So I would spend it here. Then I would also move to this end because I want my people that are sitting this side to feel as if they are part of the presentation as well. I'm not neglecting everyone. All of you are part of the presentation, but I want them to get involved. Then there are some people like me, because I felt kuti ndikauya ndikanotaurira ndiri panapa ndiri padhuze nemi so munonyatsofila kuti aiwa auya kuzotaura nesu. So it's psychology. You can even get mune vanhu wototanga kutotaura uri imomo. Of course, stage inenge yakataurwa nzi ndokwauri kufanira kutaurira ikoko. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a demarcation ekutonzi ikoko kwapiwa ndokwauri kufanira kutaurira ikoko. You get the idea? So that is on the issue of movement. Movement, don't move for the sake of moving again. Ukazoramba uchizomove manje, people lose focus. And you want to avoid that. So guys, thank you. You have been a lovely audience. Looking forward to the next time.